What if the leader of a nation facing the Great Depression? Then the deadliest war in history was a man who couldn't even walk. Would the world still follow him? Would his people still believe in him? Could a man in a wheelchair really carry a country on his shoulders? This is the story of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a man who proved that true strength doesn't come from your legs, but from your vision and your will. Franklin Roosevelt came from privilege. Born into wealth in New York, educated at Harvard, he seemed destined for a life of power and influence. He rose quickly in politics young, ambitious, charismatic. But in 1921, at just 39 years old, his life took a brutal turn. He was struck by polio, a disease that left him paralyzed from the waist down. Overnight, the strong, confident politician found himself confined to a wheelchair. For many, it would have been the end of ambition. In those days, disability was seen as weakness. And for a man with presidential dreams, weakness was political death. But Roosevelt refused to let paralysis define him. He worked tirelessly to regain strength, swimming daily, exercising relentlessly. Though he never walked unaided again, he learned how to stand with braces, how to project confidence, how to lead without showing limitation. More importantly, he learned empathy. His own suffering gave him a deeper connection to ordinary people struggling through life's hardships. Roosevelt once said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." They were born from his own fight against fear, the fear of losing mobility, of losing dignity, of losing purpose. In 1933, Roosevelt became President of the United States. The country was in ruins. The Great Depression had left millions jobless, hungry, banks collapsed, families shattered. Most leaders might have played it safe, but Roosevelt acted boldly. He launched the New Deal, programs that put people back to work, reformed banks, and restored faith in the American dream. Later, when the world was plunged into World War II, Roosevelt again became the steady hand, the calm voice that carried America through chaos, all while sitting in a wheelchair. The irony. Most Americans at the time never saw their president confined. He carefully managed his public image standing with braces, leaning on aids, so that the world saw not a crippled man, but a commander-in-chief. Psychologists call what Roosevelt embodied transformational resilience. It's the ability to take personal trauma and channel it into leadership for others. Research in leadership studies shows that those who have endured hardship often become more empathetic, decisive, and visionary. Roosevelt's paralysis stripped away arrogance, leaving him with humility and courage. It's a powerful reminder. People don't follow perfection. They follow authenticity. And authenticity is often born from pain. If we retold Roosevelt's life as a parable, it might go like this. A man falls, and his legs no longer carry him. The world expects him to crawl, to give up. And when the village is on fire, it is this man, the one who cannot walk, who carries them all to safety. Because sometimes the ones who seem the weakest are the ones who become the strongest for everyone else. We live in a culture that worships perfection, perfect health, perfect images, perfect success. But Roosevelt's story asks us, what if your limitation isn't a curse, but a doorway? He couldn't stand on his own legs, but he stood for millions. He couldn't walk across a stage, but he walked a nation through its darkest hours. The truth is, each of us has our wheelchair. It may not be visible, may be fear, doubt, insecurity, loss. The question is not whether you have a limitation. The question is, what will you do with it? Franklin Roosevelt showed us that true leadership isn't about standing tall. It's about standing firm in courage, in vision, in faith. So here's my challenge to you. What's the wheelchair in your life? And what if, instead of hiding it, you let it teach you empathy, resilience, and strength? Because maybe the very thing you think disqualifies you is the thing that prepares you to lead. If Roosevelt's story spoke to you, hit like to keep his lesson alive. Share this video with someone who feels limited by their struggles. And don't forget to subscribe for more modern parable stories that remind us that greatness doesn't come from what we stand on, but from what we stand for. Because sometimes the strongest leaders are those who cannot walk. You teach the world how to move forward.